They were caught by the maintenance man. They were just all up into each other, honey. They were like very much doing the deed already. The male nurse's wife finds out about the affair. Do you know how she finds out? Because she was a nurse on the freaking unit as well. Like, so anyway, she was sleeping with one of the married male nurses. Hey guys, this is George, your favorite registered nurse, travel, trotter, fashion fiend, and foodie, and we're back with another nursing video. We've been doing a lot of these nursing storytime videos, and it seems like people have been liking them. If you're new here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, please. And here on my channel, we like to talk about nursing, we like to talk about travel, food, and fashion. Okay, so this is a very crazy subject we are going to be addressing today, but it's a very real one, honey, so get into it. If you are a nurse, you've already seen it, you've already witnessed it, you might have played a part in it, shame on you. Hope you haven't. This channel does not support homewrecking. So infidelity in the hospital, honey. So infidelity in nursing, if you're a nurse, you already know, girl, honey. Infidelity in the hospital. This is the story time. This is my personal experiences that I've noticed as a nurse for 10 years, what I've seen, what I've witnessed. By the time this video is over, you will be drenched in tea, honey. You are going to be wet from head to toe, okay?
Just watch this thing squirt. This thing is juicing like no...
Oh, that's the brisket?
By the way, the names in this story time are not real. I covered all identities. I'm a sucker for alliteration, and these are completely fake names, so don't try to connect the dots, honey, because it's not going to happen. So without further ado, let's get into this nursing story time vlog, okay? Are you ready for it, honey? Okay, so this was in one of my earlier jobs. I don't work there anymore. Like literally like right out of nursing school. So I was very green. So what should we call her? Let's call her Delilah. Double dipping Delilah, if you will. Okay, so Delilah was a very innocent nurse. I worked with her. She was always nice to me. I didn't have a problem with her. She was a really great nurse, like great skills, great, patients loved her, awesome, super knowledgeable. So anyway, she was sleeping with one of the married male nurses. And right off the bat, honey, like, let's get into it. So everyone just started to find out because like they were very flirty with each other. Touchy-feely, like you pick up on things, you know what I mean? You don't have to be Inspector fucking Gadget to see certain people have chemistry, okay? So anyway, he was married. He told one of my coworkers, things are not working out with my wife. Like, I don't know what to do, but I'm with Delilah. I'm planning on leaving my wife. So I guess this male coworker that was married comes over to Delilah's house because obviously, like, he has wife and kids. Like, he can't be hosting, honey, okay? So he comes over to Delilah's house. So I guess she's like cooking dinner or whatever. She was doing something. Anyway, like her phone keeps on freaking ringing. So it's like ringing, nonstop. And on like the 5th or 4th time, like this guy, the married guy, picks up the phone, right? So like this guy picks up the phone because he's sick of hearing it ring, and he answers the phone, and the person on the other line is a male voice. So yes, honey, it's another man's voice, okay? So Delilah had a boyfriend. Yes, she had an ex-boyfriend who she was living with. That wasn't the guy, okay? He answers the phone, and it's not her ex-boyfriend. It's one of the other male employees at our hospital. And I know everyone, okay? So it's like, I found this out that like she was two-timing both of them. So yes, honey, Delilah was seeing 2 male employees, one married, one not married. But anyway, the male employee thought he was the only one being seen by Delilah. He knew that she was living with her ex, but he didn't know that the other guy in the picture was on our unit as well. So anyway, these 2 male employees talked it out and hashed it out. Bros before hoes kind of vibes. And apparently these bros talked to Delilah. I guess she got the short end of the stick, honey, and she moved. Delilah felt the heat, honey. Like, the joke was on her because, like, could you imagine, like, knowing the 2 guys, you're actually playing both of them for fools, and they're not gonna fight for you and fight for your heart, but instead they are going to say, bye, girl. So she probably felt like her world was like crashing around her. Like she was in a freaking earthquake right now. Like she probably couldn't believe it, you know? So she's in like a freaking emotional turmoil of an earthquake, and like she had to leave. This freaking supervisor, let's call her supply room supervisor Raquel. So supply room supervisor Raquel was married. Again, it's always like the married ones.
Oh Lord. Again. Again.
So she was married, and she was having an affair with another male nurse who was also married.
Nothing new, nothing changed, same old shit. Same old fucking shit.
It's like, if you're gonna get married, like, and you're gonna do that, then just like don't get married. In the hospital, word travels fast, honey. Like the hospital is basically like high school. I'm sorry, she was a bitch, she was nasty, and she was power hungry and put people down for her benefit. Supply room supervisor Raquel, she was one of those people who you would see them and hope to not have a conversation with them.
Oh, hi girl, how are you? Good. Have a good day. Fucking bitch.
You know, she's just like very negative. Everyone had to be cordial with her though, because she was like a supervisor. Like you don't want her on her bad side. I could be cordial to her, but I didn't trust her. I didn't confide in her. She's not a good person.
I don't trust her. I don't think she's a good person.
So there was one nurse that was Chinese, and she was new. And this is like a great example, once again, of nurses eating their young. This Chinese nurse, she was just off orientation. She was super nice, super nervous, anxious, and she would have been a great addition to the team, but she just got eaten up by supply room supervisor Raquel. So anyway, it happened in the nurses station, and so supply room supervisor Raquel was like screaming and making fun of like this new Chinese nurse, and it was just like really bad. Like it was to the point that the new nurse started crying. Okay, and it was so bad, like one of the doctors who was there charting, he was like, hey, like stop talking to her like that. So anyway, this Chinese nurse, she left because like she just couldn't handle it, you know, and she was getting bullied by her, etc, etc. No one knew that supply room supervisor Raquel was having an affair with one of the male nurses, who was married, by the way. Always the married ones. Just like double dipping Delilah in the last story, people get touchy-feely and they forget they're in public and they start showing chemistry, and then you get messy and you get caught. What gave their secret away was that one of the night nurses noticed every time at like around 11 p.m. when supply room supervisor Raquel was working, and this male nurse was working, every single night at 11 p.m. when they were both working, like no one could find them. You know, they were paging overhead on the loudspeaker for them, calling their SpectraLinks. If you're not a nurse, a SpectraLink is basically like a Nokia phone, like so we can all call each other, like hey, I need help changing room 210, or like hey, like the doctor's here, they want to do rounds with you. So it's like a SpectraLink is specifically for the hospital, so the nurses could like talk to each other. They're calling their SpectraLinks, no one's answering. They look outside the parking lot, the cars are still there, but like no one could find them. So that's suspicious, you know?
That's suspicious. That's weird.
So I guess one of the nurses was fed up or whatever, and she was friends with security. So in the security, like, you know what a security room looks like. It's like all the like cameras everywhere. So on one night at 11 p.m., fast approaching, one of the nurses is hanging out with her security guard friend in the security room. It gets to around 11 p.m. They see supply room supervisor Raquel and that male nurse at 11 p.m. go into the supply room, honey. So that's where they were hiding. So they don't come out of the supply room for a while, so you fucking connect the dots. Yes, girl. So they look through the video footage. They notice the same pattern, like when they were both working around 11 p.m., they would go to the supply room, etc, etc. The male nurse's wife finds out about the affair. Do you know how she finds out? Because she was a nurse on the freaking unit as well. Like the male nurse was a selfish asshole. So the wife finds out, and she wanted to confront supply room supervisor Raquel, and she did. And she was advised by a lot of people to like be like wired. So she had her cell phone on during the whole meeting. The male nurse and that wife, they left the hospital and they stopped working there because it was just like the best thing to do, obviously. Long story short, supply room supervisor Raquel, she stayed in her position because the wife of the male nurse didn't take it to like the CNO. So speaking of supply rooms, they should just like name the supply rooms like sex rooms because that's what's happening, okay? Like honestly, like...
It's just beyond this door.
What is?
My playroom.
Like your Xbox and stuff?
Let's call her Mistress Maldita Michelle. So if you are not Spanish or Filipino, Google what Maldita means, okay? So Mistress Maldita Michelle has power, so no one liked her, trust her, okay? She was basically like supply room supervisor Raquel, but instead of being loud and rambunctious, she was evil like behind the scenes. She was like evil quietly, like a snake, okay? She was a snake where supply room supervisor Raquel was like more like a hyena. So Mistress Maldita Michelle was having an affair with one of the medical therapists. They kept it very low, you know, as a lot of these stories start. You know, these like cheaters, like they get sloppy, okay? They get sloppy and then you were fucking sloppy and you thought no one was watching. Now instead of being a blind item on Dumois, you're fucking front page news, bitch. So one day no one could find him or her. Again, like we just can't find people, you know? And you're in the supply room. So anyway, they did an overhead again for Mistress Maldita Michelle. No. Spectral links, no one's answering. The therapist, he is on the clock too, but no one could find this medical therapist as well. So we can't find both of them, okay? Anyway, the maintenance man finds them in the closet together, in the supply room closet together. It's not even a supply room, it's more of a supply closet. Because you think about a room like this, like it's 500 feet, 600 feet of a room. It was a closet. It was like a step-in closet, okay? Like, you know how like Sex in the City where like where Carrie is in like one of the opening scenes with Big and she like opens the closet and she's like, ugh, well, I can see why there was a divorce.
Well, now I understand the divorce.
They were caught by the maintenance man. They were just all up into each other, honey. They were like very much doing the deed already. So anyway, the maintenance finds them. But the thing is, like, someone's gonna get hurt. And someone did get hurt. So in this case, who got hurt was the therapist's wife. Because she finds out that her husband is having an affair. Apparently, she finds out because she went through her husband's phone and saw the texting. Anyway, this man's wife... Okay, the medical therapist's wife comes to the hospital, okay? She was ready to, like... beat her ass, basically, okay? You know, she's ready to give this bitch hell, Mistress Maldita Michelle. She was in the front of the hospital, and she was, like, very irate, okay? This was, like, my very first job, by the way, so it's, like, hearing all of this, I'm, like... You know, like, it's giving Jerry Springer. And I used to watch Bad Girls Club, and I didn't know that, like, this stuff was real, but yeah. So anyway, the therapist's wife comes in, she's irate, she's upset, and she's like, where is this bitch? Like, where is this fucking bitch? Like, I'm gonna beat her ass. Like, get her ass in here. I'm gonna find her. I'm gonna beat her ass, okay? She wants to kick Mistress Maldita Michelle's ass. His wife is in the front lobby ready to whip her ass. The security calls the nursing station, explains the situation. One of the nursing techs has to find Mistress Maldita Michelle, tells her the wife is up front, and proceeds to hide Mistress Maldita Michelle. Okay, there's two types of people in the world. There's the one person who is like ready to beat someone's ass, and then there's the other person who is like, I'm gonna call my lawyer, I'm gonna put you to jail. Mistress Maldita Michelle was the one who was like, I'm gonna sue you. She was one of those people, okay? She's not a fighter, okay? She is not a fighter. Did I also mention that Mistress Maldita Michelle was married? So yeah, she was married. Anyway, the wife calms down. She leaves the hospital, okay? Meanwhile, Mistress Maldita Michelle is freaking hiding with the help of a nursing tech because she's scared, okay? Girl, my coworker told me a week after the fact that this man calls Mistress Maldita Michelle the married medical therapist and says, look, like, we had fun, we had some great times, but we need to stop. Like, you think, you know what I mean? You already got caught, so you should probably stop, right? So basically, he wants to end this affair. Mistress Maldita Michelle, she says, it stops when I say it stops. Okay, now you really deserve to get your ass beaten, bitch. Fast forward, it did stop. This one's actually really disappointing because, like, I know both of them and I actually really liked him and his wife. They were both great nurses, both amazing people. Just like you people like put a perception of what they want you to see, but like behind closed doors, it's not. And like this is a really sad one for me because I knew them personally. This married nurse, he worked in this hospital for like 20 years, okay? His wife was a nurse in the same hospital too. Let's call him hand-holding Horny Hussain. So hand-holding Horny Hussain, the wife was an amazing nurse. Everyone loved her. You know, she was wonderful, energetic, lively person, the life of the party, if you will. It felt like a couple that you were like, wow, like that's like the marriage I want. Like that's like couple goals is basically how I could describe it. Hand-holding Horny Hussain's wife was getting suspicious, as all women do. She was getting suspicious that her husband was having an affair because she knew when his shift was over, he wouldn't like come home right away. You know what I mean? So she was getting suspicious. Like, where are you? What are you doing? It just doesn't make sense if your shift is over at 7, but you're not home at like 10. There was one night hand-holding Horny Hussain was working and his wife, keep in mind they work in the same hospital, his wife stakes out at the hospital parking lot after his shift because she's like, where is he going? You know, he's not coming home. She sees her husband walking out of the hospital and he gets into his car. But he is like, he starts the engine, like blah, 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 the lights come on, but he's not like going anywhere. You know what I mean? So a few minutes pass by and his wife sees another woman get into her husband's car. Anyway, she came out of the hospital, this mystery woman as well. So they leave the parking lot. His wife is following her husband's car. Obviously, they are heading somewhere, okay? Another neighborhood. So hand-holding Horny Hussain, he street parks. He opens the passenger door. The woman is a nurse because they're both wearing scrubs. So his wife lets them walk a little. She gets out of the car, follows them. She sees them holding hands. So they're like lovey-dovey at this point. This wife doesn't do anything when she sees this. Keep in mind that they immigrated from like a super conservative country. So I'm sure like his wife is like, how can he be so affectionate out in the public? Like with another woman and like he's married, you know? So she follows them and they end up at a house and they go in together. It was the house of the female nurse, who's also married, by the way. I know all of this because like tea travels fast, you know? Cheaters are always in their right mind when they cheat. So like, don't let them tell you like, oh, I wasn't thinking, like, I'm so sorry. Like, just like fucking leave their ass, you know? You aren't sorry. You're sorry that you got caught, honey. Like, you deserve better, guys. Like, don't let people do that to you. So apparently like his wife confronted that whore nurse and that nurse ended up leaving the hospital and moved. The wife told hand-holding Horny Hussain, like, if you ever do this again, you know, ... that whole speech everyone gives their cheating husband. Because you believe the person you love or your boyfriend or husband is a good person and that they're gonna change. He never changed, okay? He was a cheater, is a cheater, is a cheater, is a cheater. So girl, if you find out your husband's cheating, just go, you know, especially if you don't have kids, like, just go. He didn't love you enough. That wasn't the first time hand-holding Horny Hussain cheated on her either. Okay, so human resources, guys. Human resources. Human resources is a place where it's a safe place, okay? HR is like Switzerland. It's supposed to be a place that's like Switzerland. They don't take any sides, but it doesn't mean anything when your HR is never there because she's too busy her damn self being messy, okay? So in one of my old jobs, the human resources lady was having an affair with one of the heads of another department. So that's great. They kept it a secret, but once again, they got messy and people started to connect the dots, bitch. Tale as old as time, honey. Tale as old as fucking time.
Tale as old as time.
Yeah.
Tale as old as time. Yeah.
Let's call her messy mediocre Mia. She was head of HR, okay? Messy Mediocre Mia was like a mousy, quiet, like just like mediocre, like very basic. She wasn't doing anything phenomenal. Like, she's not giving you anything, okay? She's kind of just like coasting through life. She's just like there. She's not memorable, okay? And it's no shade. I'm just giving you what it is, okay? The person she was having an affair with was a head of another department. And that person was the opposite. This person was energetic. She made her presence known. This person had personality. You heard her, you knew she was there. Whereas like Messy Mediocre Mia was very like quiet, like you didn't know she was there. So I guess opposites attract, bitch. Whatever. Maybe, I don't know, like that head of that department saw Messy Mediocre Mia as just like prey, you know, and as an easy target to get what you wanted. I don't know, because like this head of that department like had a lot of problems. Like she had problems with the doctors, she had problems with like employees. So it was kind of like a give and take relationship. It was like a symbiotic relationship where like, look, I'm gonna help you and you're gonna help me. Messy Mediocre Mia was a very passive person. Like people could easily take advantage of her. So anyway, they were having an affair and it started to get messy and people realized it. So one day, Messy Mediocre Mia's husband, it's always like the spouse is coming into the hospital, like asking what like this cheater is, okay? One day, Messy Mediocre Mia's husband comes to the hospital. He's looking for his wife. He's looking for her honey. He's looking for her high and low bitch because he is calling her Messy Mediocre Mia, not answering the phone. I mean, she's obviously not answering the phone if she's doing something else, you know. He comes to the hospital, okay? He goes to the secretary at the front desk. Has anyone seen my wife? Her car is in the parking lot. I'd like to talk to her. I can't get a hold of her. Okay, apparently she came into work, as they saw in the video footage of the security. She comes into work, let's call her Ellen. Messy Mediocre Mia leaves with Ellen, who is the lady who is in charge of the other department, okay? She's the head of another department. Like, I think it was a weekend because it's like, no, it's obviously like, you know, not a lot of people are in the hospital. So best time to like park your car at work to make it look like you're at work, but you're really not, and clock out early and go have a rendezvous, honey, if you will. Messy Mediocre Mia leaves the hospital in Ellen's car, okay? While Messy Mediocre Mia's husband is at the nurse's station now looking for his wife, okay? So fast forward, the husband finds out, divorces Messy Mediocre Mia. Mia gets fired because they find out there was just like a ton of stuff that she was covering for Ellen. Oh, that's what's going on. And they found like so many more complaints about Ellen, of like how she was just not, you know, respectful. She was talking rude to the doctor. She was making other employees uncomfortable. And Messy Mediocre Mia, who's not getting the love and attention from her husband, I guess, I don't know, or that she was a closet lesbian, I don't know what's going on, but like she obviously got what she wanted from Ellen, and Ellen didn't get reported to corporate because they were helping each other. Messy Mediocre Mia gets fired. I don't know what happened, but like she spun it like, I just got like another opportunity, another hospital for greener pastures, and it's just like an opportunity that I can't say no to. We get it. It's great PR. All right, you're doing great. Your PR agent is the same as Sabrina Carpenter dodging the Catholic Church questions, honey, okay?
And how do we feel about scandalizing the Catholic Church a little with Feather? Gotta go, girl, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go.
Fast forward, Ellen, the lady who was head of the department, she gets fired too because they found out all this shit about her, so. Okay, so this next person. Okay, so this one, he's not a nurse, but like he works in another department that is directly correlated to our nursing department. So let's call him Touchy Tempting Trevor. So Touchy Tempting Trevor, he was younger, he was good looking, he worked out, he was ultimately really nice, you know, he was a good guy, he was great at his job, he was always nice to me, like we were cool, but like he had his vices, okay? So this was at a job that I used to work at, and honestly, most of the nursing department thought he was like cute, like he was, you know, good looking. He knew what was up, okay? He had confidence.
What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with being confident? Oh,
But Demi's not even confident.
Okay, he was a fuckboy, he was a frat boy, he was cocky, he was feeling himself, bitch, okay? I was with my coworkers at the nurse's station charting, okay? Someone brings up his name, okay? Touchy, tempting Trevor. And my coworker was like, yeah, he's really nice, but he's a little too touchy-feely. Another nurse is like, okay, girl, like, I thought I was the only one who thought that, but, like, I'm glad that you said that. Another nurse comes in, and she's like, who are you talking about? And we're like, oh, Touchy, tempting Trevor. And she's like, oh my god, yeah, like, he doesn't know how to keep his hands to himself. Touchy, tempting Trevor was very handsy, and he would always cop a feel when he had the chance to. One of my coworkers, she was like, yeah, like, he came up to me, and he put his hands on my butt. And I'm like, I guess she was okay with it. Like, all these other women were okay with it. She probably wanted him to, you know, grab her ass and spank it. Another coworker was like, oh yeah, Touchy, tempting Trevor came up to me and, like, we were talking about my patient and we were side to side and he kind of, like, touched my boobs. And on and on and on and on. It was, like, the same story. The same story about this guy. And I'm like, if it was anyone else, like, HR would have got the calls immediately and he would have been fired, because it's Touchy, tempting Trevor, like, he ain't going anywhere, honey. Like, these nurses protected his ass because they didn't mind the extra attention. They liked that extra attention, honey, from this man. So he was, like, very touchy-feely, and it's like, I'm sure if, like, we had a meeting and HR was like, oh, like, we've got a call from someone saying that, like, this one was, like, touchy-feely. I am pretty sure these other nurses who had their butts and boobs grabbed by Touchy, tempting Trevor, they would have looked at each other and be like, who said that? Who said that? Who said that?
Who said that? Who said that? Who said that?
Because they probably loved it. They probably loved that he was touching them, you know? Like... It's just funny how, like, it's pretty privilege, honey. It's pretty privilege at its finest. So it's like, and at this point, like, did I say that he was, like, freshly married? Like, he had a wife, but, like, I don't know. Okay, so this next story, just because, like, I can picture these people, these two are like, let's call her Giggly Groupie Greta, okay? Giggly Groupie Greta was married. Here we go again with the married people. So she's married, she has kids, she is a supervisor at one of my old jobs that I used to be PRN in. So one of my coworkers, let's call her Sarah. Sarah gets called into Giggly Groupie Greta's office. Sarah is like, hey girl, like, what's up? Like, you called me in. So Giggly Groupie Greta wants to talk to her about something. As the conversation keeps going on, Sarah notices that Giggly Groupie Greta's cell phone keeps going off. Okay, it's not the supervisor's cell phone, it is the personal phone of Giggly Groupie Greta. Sarah notices every single time this phone goes off and Giggly Groupie Greta answers it, the text message, she is just like a live bitch. Smiling from ear to ear, she's so excited, she's like giggly, like getting these text messages just like a giggly schoolgirl acts like when they have a crush, okay? Overhead announcement comes on. Giggly Groupie Greta, can you come to the nurse's station? Giggly Groupie Greta leaves for the nurse's station. Sarah notices another text message. And if you know Sarah, Sarah doesn't give a fuck, okay? Sarah is like one of those girls, like she doesn't care. So the phone is unlocked, by the way. So text messages goes off. Sarah notices it's from one of our male employees, not Giggly Groupie Greta's husband, okay? She takes a closer look. Sarah takes a closer look at Giggly Groupie Greta's cell phone, and they are just going into town, honey. They are sexting like it's no fucking tomorrow, okay? He's texting her things like, I can't wait till you get off work so I can give it to you good. Giggly Groupie Greta is texting back like, oh, I've never had anyone like you. Like, I've never felt this way before. And I'm like, girl. Sarah keeps scrolling because she doesn't give a fuck. Like, if you knew Sarah, like, this is so Sarah. Sarah keeps scrolling, and lo and behold, there's a pic, honey. Like, full frontal, and like, when she was telling me this, she was like, girl, like, I don't want to see my coworker's penis. She is like, yeah, like, when I saw that pic of, she was like, oh, like it hurt my eyes. Like that little got me. Like that little hit my eye is what she was saying. And it was like,
He just almost got me. He almost got me, a little
but anyway, I mean, this is just like the tip of the iceberg. Like, I don't know the whole stories. I'm just getting the tea from like coworkers. So that is what it is, honey. I just want to know if you guys have any similar experiences. Like, what is some tea about your workplace that you want to share? Anyway, that's all I have for you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.